Hey everyone, KryptoCal here, and welcome to the next episode of FTB Skies. In the last episode, we went ahead and set up this amazing power generation setup with the gas burning generators. Now, I also went ahead and did a little bit of changing up of how I had this set up before, and instead of having 3 plugs like we had before, what I'm actually doing is I'm using a battery as a buffer. I had the plug set up underneath here, so that's how we're getting the power, at least until we get a better way to store power, which will probably be in the form of using one of the induction matrices from Mechanism. And in between episodes, this is the design I came up with to hide our power setup, and I think it looks pretty awesome. I decided to take a different approach for the palette for this build and kind of tried to make it its own standalone build, while still bringing in some elements from the other builds, like some of the spruce trim. As you saw in some of the time lapse, I also decided to make the island here a little more island-like and less disc floating. It's still kind of a little bit of a disc or a bowl, but I decided to throw in some of these spikes that I made, and then I used the copy paste gadget to go ahead and just copy paste a bunch of them around. I do like the shadowy effect that it gets from being so large, so I didn't want to light up the entire underside. I have some small, as you can see, some lanterns down there just to kind of give it a little bit of a glow, but I kind of like the darkness that it kind of makes the whole thing feel a little bigger. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the island came together here, and now that we have that made, we can go ahead and push further on and keep building on top of the island. So my plan for this episode is I want to get us set up with a mob farm, but not just any mob farm. Oh no, we want to get ourselves going into the hostile neural networks mod. The one that I'm currently interested in is actually what I have in my inventory right now, and that is the evoker. I want to go ahead and get an evoker set up in a simulation chamber, and that's because the evoker prediction can be used to create 16 emeralds at a time. Unlike the Vindicator, which only produces us 8 emeralds per prediction, so these are actually much better for emerald production as opposed to the Vindicator. And emeralds is something that I want a bunch more of. Now, if we wanted an absolute ton of emeralds really fast, the meta way to do this would probably be to just set up an apotheosis spawner completely maxed out with a Vindicator or evoker spawn egg in it, and then we can use the mob grinding utils grinder to then provide looting 10, which would give us an absolute ton of emeralds. I've done that before, and I want to try just doing it with the hostile neural networks mod because I really don't think that many emeralds is going to be required for this pack, and it can actually produce a lot of lag doing it that way because it's an absolute ton of entities. So this is a really lag friendly way to do it. Hostile neural networks is also a really great mod for servers for that reason. So I want to go ahead and get a couple of these model frameworks built. And the way that we're going to actually do that is by using the evoker spawner. Now, we do have some other spawners as well that might be interesting to have. For example, there is the wither skeleton spawner. Yeah, right here, the wither skeleton spawner. But I actually think we don't even have to do that because there actually is a wither data model. Surprisingly enough, we can actually just go ahead and use this in the simulation chamber to produce us nether stars directly. And we have to be able to kill 6 withers to get enough data for this model to be complete. So I'm thinking we do is we just go ahead and grab enough for 6 of these, which means we're going to need 18 total. So I have a way that we can get ourselves a very fast spawner, which is great. And we have all of these model frameworks ready to go. So I want to test this out quickly though on an energetic sheep. I'm not sure if this is going to count towards the sheep data model, but I want to go ahead and test it out really quick. No models are known for the specimen. Okay, so we actually have to get a normal sheep for this. Something that'll make fighting the wither and all of this data collection a lot easier is, first of all, we have to get ourselves the hostile neural network deep learner, which is just some obsidian and also some glass panes, which I think we should have. There we go. So once you have a deep learner, you can put it inside of a deep learner slot right here. There's one in your trinket slot. Any data model inside of the deep learner will constantly get better and better the more mobs you end up killing of that data model that's inside. So for example, if we had a wither data model, we could put this inside here, and the more withers we kill with this deep learner in our inventory, the better and better that data model will become. And as you can see here, as it's cycling through, there are different tiers of data models, and the best one is called self-aware. And as you can see, the higher the tier, the better % chance that we actually get one of the predictions of that mob. If you don't get the prediction, so say the prediction fails, it'll end up producing just one of these generalized ender predictions, or there's also, I think, like another prediction and a general overworld prediction or something. The other thing I want to get to make this process a lot easier is something called a compact machine. Essentially what a compact machine is it basically provides you a certain sized room all within a 1 block machine, pretty much a device. So for example, this maximum size compact machine has a 13 by 13 by 13 area inside but it fits in a 1 block area. And I actually do want to craft up this one because it does provide us with a lot of room to work with. We also need to get a device called a personal shrinking device, not to be mistaken with the personal shrinking device from the shrink mod. It's the one from the compact machines mod, which just takes, again, a glass pane and some basic stuff here, and that will let us access the compact machine. And we actually get another compact machine as a quest reward. So this compact machine is pretty much just going to be a temporary machine to go and do all this mob grinding in. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is place it down, right click on it with our personal shrinking device, and that creates this massive room, 13 by 13 by 13, that we can do a whole bunch of stuff inside of. Now keep in mind, if you wanted to set up some machines or devices that you wanted to have always running in here, you would have to come into your FTB chunks and make sure you claim this and force load it. Or else once you leave the compact machine by just right clicking with the personal device again, everything in here will basically unload. So just keep that in mind. We can also shift right click with the personal shrinking device in our hand to set our spawn location. So every time we come into the compact machine, we'll spawn on that 1 block. So let's get ourselves going with this evoker spawner. I'm going to go ahead and place this down probably right here and also hit it with a redstone comparator immediately, just to turn it off like this. Though I did forget to grab a lever for this, so I'm going to have to go and grab a lever in a moment. But what we can actually go ahead and do is speed the spawner up. So what we can see is if we hold control, we can see that the min spawn delay and the maximum are 200 and 800. And those are, I believe, ticks. So if we go ahead and use some sugar on this, we can bring the minimum spawn delay down all the way to 20. What we can also do is grab some clocks. The more clocks we use, the more this will actually drop the maximum spawn delay, which is the big one. That's going to be the one that speeds this entire thing up a ton. And I use a stack of clocks on there, so it's not the fastest it could be, but I think it's going to be fine for now. We can also go ahead and use some gas tiers. So the fermented spider eye actually increases the spawn count of the spawner, and the gas tiers actually increase the total amount of entities that can be around the spawner to allow more to spawn. Right now, this is a pretty fast spawner. That's going to spawn an absolute ton of mobs, so this is going to get chaotic pretty quick. So I actually just put down some of this delightful dirt here, and I actually got a sheep to spawn, so we can actually use a model framework on the sheep. So I can go ahead and put the sheep model inside of here, and if we go ahead and dispose of the sheep, we can see now that inside of our data model, the sheep has now 1 data collected. This is going to be pretty chaotic, so I'm going to have to be pretty quick about this. But what I want to do is essentially right-click on one of the evokers once they're spawned in, and then put it inside the deep learner. And I might even do that with a couple of them. I might make a couple of evoker frameworks because they are going to be very useful later on. Now, one thing I'm noticing about this spawner is it looks like it should be spawning mobs right now, but it's not. So I'm thinking that the compact machine actually cares about the light level. So to make this work, we might actually have to hit this with a soul lantern to make it ignore the light level. And now that should work. So let's go ahead and turn this thing back on. Oh, that was immediate. Yep. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab all these predictions really quick. If I can. Okay. It's going to get chaotic in here. So let's go ahead and get all these guys figured out. And now we can just go ahead and start hitting these guys. Anyway, I'm going to probably turn this off for a moment just to check. But let's go ahead and flip this thing off. There we go. It's turned off now, so there shouldn't be any more spawning. This is chaos. Yeah, that's a couple of totems, you could say. And if we come and look at our data model, these are all at superior models already. And they only need 25 more to be fully maxed out, which I think I'm going to actually go ahead and do. So let's go ahead and just flip this back on for a moment. All of these evokers are now self-aware, and they're going to cost us 1024 FE per tick to run the simulation, which isn't too bad at all. I actually want to go ahead and try and get myself a sheep to spawn. Oh, there we go. So I want to go ahead and use a mob swab on this guy and get a sheep to now combine with a seed and a bucket of experience to get the special type of chicken feed. Now, if we go ahead and find one of our chicken friends over here, we can give him some yummy food and get ourselves a sheep spawn egg. Now we can go ahead and use a very similar technique to the first time with a new spawner and make a sheep spawner instead. So I do think these require grass to spawn, just like this. So we might have to go ahead and provide these with a little bit more grass to spawn on. I actually want to go ahead and make a couple more of these blank data models because we do want to use them for the wither. So I'm going to go ahead and actually grab 4 of these. That way we can actually start maxing out 4 wither models using the 1 deep learner. All right, let's go level up the sheep one really quick because we are going to want to get some wool for our future plans. But then I want to start doing the wither data model. All right, so the sheep is a self-aware sheep now, which is good. That'll provide us with quite a bit of wool in the future. All of these walls here are unbreakable walls, so it's actually a great kind of wither arena. That is not how you build a wither. Try that one more time. We build a wither just like this with them on top like so. And I'm actually going to go ahead and quickly turn our master volume down. This is going to get quite loud. I think we can actually click on him right now. Let's go ahead and do that. Oh yeah, we can. Get the last one. Come here. Come here. There we go. So we now can take all these, put them inside of here. And now we can go ahead and beat this guy. And there we go. Well, we got another star, and we also got one of these yellow heart baubles. But more importantly, we can see that our data models have leveled up to the 1 data collected out of 6. We have to go ahead and basically do this 5 more times. And I think I'm going to do something that I'm going to probably regret, and that's going to be summoning all these guys at once. And I'm probably going to seriously regret doing this. What have I done? Bring it on, everybody. Let's just see how OP we actually are right now. Well, that could have gone worse. These should all be at basic tier now. We have to do 12 more of these to get them leveled up once again. And I don't think we have quite enough of that for this time, but we can maybe get them on their way. I mean, I might as well, because I have the wither skeleton skulls. So let's go ahead and just maybe wand this up. This will be scary. I think we're doing okay though. So we still got 23 wither skeleton skulls. I think we actually get quite a few back from killing the actual withers themselves, which is interesting because that means that we have probably enough to actually go ahead and get these guys leveled up one more time. And then we'll just go ahead and wand them up. And our data models have leveled up to the advanced tier. Now from here on out, this is going to require quite a few more. We have to do 26 more kills, it seems. So I don't think we're going to have enough skulls for that. That's okay. I think the advanced tier is more than sufficient to start off with. Realistically, even the basic tier of the wither model is totally fine. It'll just take a little longer for it to level itself up. So we're going to need a couple more things before we get started here. We need the loot fabricator. Let's go ahead and make 3 of these. And we also need to get these simulation chambers. We need at least 8 for this setup currently. So if I go ahead and grab a few more of these comparators, we should be able to make 8 of these if we have some more glass panes, which we, I think, have plenty of glass for. And there we go. There's 8 simulation chambers. So we can come down here, grab ourselves the prediction matrices. These prediction matrix are actually what we need to do the simulations. Let's just make like a couple stacks of these. There we go. I think 3 stacks should be good for now. So if we take our 8 simulation chambers and run them just like this, and we'll place them 1 block above, and our loot fabricators can just go just beside like so. We probably are going to end up moving this setup to a permanent location, but I just want to get these producing some resources for us right now. Now let's go ahead and put down our cables, and we're going to probably run the cabling out the back, and then we'll go ahead and just put a point down. That should power all of these, no problem. These have a really large buffer, 2 million FEs, so these can get quite power hungry if you don't have the power set up for them. Thankfully, we're not too worried about power because we have, I think, plenty of power in here still. Yeah, these are producing more than enough power for us. We do want to set it up so these are all extracting out of the insides like this and all extracting into the loot fabricators. Once they've produced the loot in the loot fabricators, we just want to extract all that into the ender chest. So to get started here, we have to insert a data model. Let's go and put our wither data model in just for now, and that should go in the top left slot right here. And now it says cannot begin simulation. We're missing a prediction matrix. So then you want to provide it with some of these prediction matrix, and now it's launching the simulation. So it's going to go through all this process, and then it'll tell you whether or not it failed or not. So in this case, it did fail, which means we're going to basically get one of these generalized predictions here instead. But every time it runs the simulation, the accuracy of the model gets better. Oh, in this case, it actually succeeded, which is awesome. Which means that in one of these, we should see, there it is, the wither prediction. So now to get this to actually produce nether stars, all you have to do is select it here, and it should automatically produce the nether star and put it inside of our loot fabricator, which will then go into the ender chest. Now this is stopped here because we don't actually have a drawer for the nether star yet. So we're going to have to get a drawer set up for that. And now as you can see, this percentage chance here is getting better and better as it runs more simulations. I do want to take care of these garbage predictions though by just setting up a basic trash can back here. I can just set the trash can up in the back here and only whitelist the ender predictions, and now only those will go in. So we've actually produced 2 nether stars now that it's run a couple times, and it's gotten better and better as it does it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the withers in all the simulation chambers up top here and give them all some prediction matrix so they can start working on getting better and better. Our evokers and our sheep, however, are already maxed out fully, so they don't actually have to get any better. they're as good as they're gonna get. So if I come in here and send in the evokers in the bottom and the sheep here, we can actually go ahead and give these some predictions as well, and they will start producing their resources. We also want to get rid of the generalized overworld prediction. The sheep gives off these ones, so we don't want to get rid of those as well. With the sheep, we can actually choose which color wool we want to get, and I think for now just the white wool is probably going to be fine. And we get 32 every time this succeeds. And we want to select the emeralds for the evoker, because we do want as many emeralds as we can get. Thankfully, these prediction matrix are very cheap. They only take some glass panes, 1 piece of clay, and gold and iron ingot to make 16. We can just fill up our inventory. And for now, the way I actually want to automate this is by using modular routers. Modular routers is very good for wirelessly accomplishing a bunch of different tasks. So what I want to do is grab one of these modular routers and a distribution module, which I believe is how we send items. Yeah, the distributor module, I believe, is what we need. I think this is what we need to use to send to a bunch of locations. Yeah, there we go. We can send up to 8 locations the same item. So now that we have all 8 of these selected, we can go ahead and place it inside of the modular router with some speed upgrades, and those should automatically send the predictions. And look, it's sending all the predictions out of here and into all the simulation chambers automatically. Now all we have to do is basically pump all these prediction matrix into the modular router. It's a single pipe with a large barrel, or even just a drawer maybe. A drawer might actually be better here. Let's set up a drawer just like this. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and put all of our predictions inside of the drawer. And now we want to pipe them into the modular router very quickly. So that should automatically now send all these prediction matrices to all the simulation chambers and kind of keep itself stocked up. All we have to do is come by here every once in a while and refill this drawer with a bunch of these matrices. And we have 80 nether stars here and counting, which is amazing. Our emeralds are also probably looking great. Over 4,000 emeralds already. We already have 1,400 white wool. And there's lots of other mobs we can do this with too. One other data model I do want to get going is also the blaze data model, because we have blaze powder coming in infinitely, but we don't have any blaze rods. And we do need some of those rods for crafts and certain recipes. So I would like to have a passive source of them if possible. Too much, too much, too much. Oh my goodness. Never mind. Maybe we don't even need to do that. Maybe we just need to do that for a little bit. Those apotheosis spawners are so broken. And the last thing that I want to do in this episode is set up some villager trading. Because now that we have infinite emeralds coming in, we can go ahead and basically trade for whatever resources we want. And the trades I'm particularly interested in are the trades from this guy right here, the Fluix Researcher. And his workstation is the charger from AE2. So let's go ahead and make a couple of these. We're going to probably want at least 3 of these villagers. So let's go ahead and get a couple of villagers out of here. In the easy villager mod, there is a bunch of different little stations you can make to make your villager experience way better. And the converter is actually just a really easy way to convert villagers into zombie villagers and then cure them to get better trades. And I want to set up our easy villagers over here close to where our emerald supply is. If we put these auto traders down here, these are actually very easy to set up. Now that we have them inside of their auto traders, we can decide what we want to trade these guys for. Now, unfortunately, because they are not the leveled up versions, we're not going to get all the options for trading. So what I want to actually do is grab them out and then give them a workstation, and we can manually level them up first and then put them in the auto traders. What we're going to go ahead and do is just level all of them up to the next level by buying the Certus Quartz Crystal. And this is the one that I'm looking for, the Fluix Crystal. This is a really great thing to have automatically coming in. And in this pack, unfortunately, the best way to get Fluix is by the villager trading, because the only other way to really do it is by using create, which is okay. There's also the in-world transformation, which is kind of a pain to do automatically, but 4 emeralds for 4 Fluix crystal is fantastic. And what we could do is we could actually cure these guys a couple times and get them to the point where we could buy 4 Fluix crystal for 1 emerald, which is actually an insane deal. And we can actually buy some of these presses from them as well, which is really cool. So we can buy the engineering press, that we're going to need. Also, we can buy the logic press, the silicone press, and I think we're just missing the calculation press, which none of them seem to be selling right now. Let's go ahead and see if we can actually cure these guys once with the converter. So if I grab a converter, oh, I see, we have to provide it with a potion of weakness and a gold apple. That's similar to how the vanilla way to cure the zombie villagers is. A potion of weakness is just using a fermented spider eye. So there we go. And we don't have to make them the splash potions either. We can just have that be the normal version. So let's go ahead and grab some blaze powder out of here. And now we can just go ahead and speed this up with our pouch, get all this potion of weakness all brewed up really quickly. And there we go. We have 18, I think. Let's go ahead and provide this with a potion of weakness and 1 golden apple. And that should start to do something. and we can, I think, speed this up now. This does take a while normally, so, oh, there we go. He is fully cured up, and if we put him inside of here, is he gonna give us the better trades? There we go. We have 1 emerald for 4 Fluix crystal. And now this is kind of a jank way of doing this for now. And if we just extract out of our emerald chest here, and there we go. Now that we have this hooked into our emerald drawer, this is providing us infinite Fluix crystal. And they will obviously max out per day, but because we're doing this automatically in the background, we're going to accumulate so much Fluix, it's not even going to matter. All the output items are pumping into our storage system. This will be great because I definitely plan on setting up applied energistics as soon as possible. And this is definitely one of the steps towards that. But unfortunately, that's about all the time I have for this episode. I really hope you all enjoyed this episode though. If you did, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to join the Discord. The link is in the description down below, so definitely go and check that out. But I hope you have a good one, everybody, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye!